Morning, guys. So today we'll start the session with so as of now we're done the in the logical thinking we're done with the operators, and then after that we're done with the conditional statements, and then after that we're done with the looping statements. So these three are belong to logical thinking. If you are good at these three concepts, then you are strong at logical thinking. Okay, in the data types basically we have the two types, right? One is the non-primitive. First one is the primitive, and the second one is the non-primitive. Non-primitive. Okay, non-primitive. These are fixed values, right? So due to that, we have the non-primitive. So in the non-primitive data types, we have the topics are like class, and then we can say arrays, and then we can say string collections. So these are comes under non-primitive. These are comes under the noun. Okay, so today we'll try to understand arrays. Okay, why how the arrays concept, what is the method of it, we'll try to discuss. Okay, today we'll discuss about the arrays. Okay, if you observe here, for example, I want to store student details, like the student recently has written the exam, he got scored like different marks, like you can assume the student is belong to 10th class. He written the exam. He got the score in six subjects like 90, 91, 92, 93, like that. He got the score. I want to write the program based on the marks. Marks wise, I need to write the program. Normally, if I go with the primitive approach, how can I write? So we'll try to understand two approaches. One is the primitive approach, and second one is the non-primitive approach. Okay. So the student has written the exam, and the student will get the score like this. Int subject 1 equal to some 90. Okay, similarly I am copying this one. Subject to I am mentioning with the 92, and then subject 3 I am mentioning with the 93. Here I am mentioning with the 93, like this. Basically, this is the primitive approach, right? If I go this primitive approach, if you observe here what is I'm doing, the student is having subject, so I'm writing every time subject 5, and he got 95, and the subject 6 he got 96. This is the information belong to only one student. Okay, we can assume like in our students we might be having, if we take the 50 students, if I want to write the program uh, like this, two remaining 50 students also, then how many should variables should I create? I need to create the 50 students actually. 50 student, one student has have the exam 6. I need to create total 50 into 6. 50 into 6. Totally I need to create 300 variables. 300 variables for storing the remaining 50 student marks as well. Okay, in case of 50, if you can understand, if you can assume, in case of 50, you can assume 300 into 6. Then 300 into 6, 1800. So I need to create 1800 variables. I need to create 1800 variables. So in this case, I need to create 300 variables. So if I write like this, then what will happen? It will be taken lot of time to create multiple objects. If I create the multiple objects also, then somewhere, in some point of view, we'll get the memory storage also completed. Are you guys clear with my point? I'm creating multiple variables. Variables. If I am going through this approach, what will happen? What will happen? Like your memory will be also wasted. Your memory will be also wasted. So instead of this one, if I mention like this, int sub equal to 91 comma 91, I would say 92 comma 93 comma 94. If I write like this, it is possible. No, this is invalid. Why? Because this is invalid. The variable data type is primitive. Primitive meaning it can hold only one value. It can hold only one value. It can hold only one value. But we are trying to store the multiple values. If you are trying to store the multiple values, okay, it can hold only one value if you are trying to store the multiple values. So due to how to overcome that issue, if I create multiple arrays, then you need to make you need more memory. Okay, some point of view you will get the storage problem. So this way is not at all recommended. This way is not at all recommended. If you go with this approach, at some point of view you will get the memory problem. So due to that one, we have the arrays concepts. The arrays concept, we will store the multiple values at the same time. Are you guys clear with my point? This way is not at all recommended. So that's why. So the Java people has introduced the topic arrays, arrays concepts, right? So with the help of this arrays, you can store the multiple values. So if in case of instead of this one, you can mention you can store the multiple values. You can store the multiple values by using arrays. So the first point is arrays is a container. Arrays is a container which is used to store the multiple values, which is used to store the multiple values, multiple values, or we can say data, or we can say elements, or we can say objects. Anything we can say objects with the same with a similar data type. With a similar data type. Are you guys clear with my pointer? So this problem can overcome. How will you overcome? By using the arrays concept. So what is the definition for the arrays? So arrays is the container which is used to store the multiple values. You can say values, you can say data, you can say elements, you can say object. Anything you can say. So normally in the definition point of view, they will write arrays is the container which is used to value or data with the similar data type. Okay. The second point is arrays is the reference data type. Arrays is the reference data type. We have the two types of data types, right? One is the predefined, second one is the custom user defined. User defined data types also called as reference data types. Reference data types. Okay. Next thing is next thing is next thing is at the time of declaration, at the time of declaring the arrays, declaring the declaration of array size is mandatory. Array size is mandatory. Array size is mandatory. Array size is mandatory. Okay. Next up. Next up. So I will show you here some points. The syntax of array is syntax for the arrays. Syntax for array. Okay. Syntax for the array is generally first one array declaration. Array declaration. How will you declare the array generally? So normally we need to mention the data type, right? Normally how will you declare the variable? How will you declare the variable, guys? This is the variable you can assume. If you want to declare the variable, you need to mention the data type and the variable name. variable name, and for example, if you want to store the value, you can store like this. Okay. Similarly, in array also we have to mention the data type. But in case we are storing multiple values, right? If you are storing the multiple values, you have to mention square braces. Square braces are the symbols which will indicate the arrays, which will meaning this will show the multiple values. This will show the multiple values, and then you can mention the array variable name. Variable name. Are you guys clear with my point? Only the difference is this one only. Variable and this one. Only the difference is in case of arrays we are adding the square braces. Here you can add multiple values. Here you can add multiple values. 91, I would say 92. So like this we can add the multiple. Only the difference is the array. Are you guys clear with my point? Okay. Variable declaration meaning without value. I am initializing like this. Then that is the variable declaration. Variable initialization meaning we have to initialize the value. Array initialization, array initialization, array initialization meaning how to assign the values. You can take anything, variable name equal to, I have to mention new, or I would say square braces, and we have to mention, I have to mention the size. This is the thing I am mentioning. If I mention, so at the time of declaring the initializing the array, size is mandatory for the array. Size is mandatory for the arrays. Okay. Next important point is the beauty of array is we can show the values, we can retrieve the values based on the index positions. Okay, that is the beauty of array is we can show the values, we can retrieve the values, we can store the values, we can retrieve the values, we can retrieve the values based on the index positions. Based on the index positions. Are you guys clear with my point? Based on the index positions. Okay. Next important point is next important point is JVM arrays will be treated as a object only. Okay. JVM it will treated arrays as a objects only. That's why arrays will be JVM will allocate the memory for the arrays in the heap memory. Okay. So the same point I will here write here. JVM will treated arrays as a object. So that's why JVM will allocate memory for the arrays in the heap memory. Are you guys clear with my point? JVM will allocate the JVM will treat it as a arrays as an object. That's why JVM will allocate memory for the will allocate for the arrays in the heap memory. Okay, arrays also it will treat it as the object only. It will be treated as the object only. That's why JVM will allocate the memory in the heap memory. It will allocate some space in the heap memory. Heap memory. Okay, are you guys clear with my point? So these are the few points you can remember here. At the time of, okay, I will show you some the basic program. For example, this is the I'm taking some demo file. I'm removing all the things. Here I'm taking one file, new text.demo. Here I would like to take demo.java. Okay, I'm taking the file name. Basically, I'm renaming my file name or rename demo.java. Okay. scope of the class, and here I am taking the main method public static void main, and then here I am taking the string false, and from here to here this is the scope of the class. Okay. So here I want to store the subject student subject marks. So how I am storing int and I have to mention square braces and then variable name. Variable name. I am mentioning it as the marks equal to new marks and then square braces, and here we have to mention the size. I am mentioning as the 5, right? What I am saying is in the arrays, the beauty of array is you can store the values, you can retrieve the values based on the index positions. Now the student has written the exam, he got score the 1991, so I need to store the values. How can I store? Based on the index position. Marks index position is 0 and then 90. Generally what will happen internally, I will show you by using this one. So I will take new file, new one. So and then I will take some fish symbol. Now, generally what will happen internally, the process, whenever we are creating the object for the array, for example, whenever you create the object, that object got created inside the heap memory, right? So here in our case, we are writing the program like this, right? Int array marks equal to new marks, and then we are mentioned 5, right? Size. So at the time of declaration, size is mandatory. This one is mandatory. This one is mandatory. What will happen whenever we are mentioning this one? What will happen internally, generally? So this is the object. New is the keyword which is used to create the object, right? New is the operator which is used to create the object. Whenever you are making the new marks with the size 5, then what will happen? Internally in the heap memory, object got created. Are you guys clear with my point? Object got created with size 5. With size 5. So I will show you. I will take some big boxes. Okay, like this, I will mention with the index positions. This is the index position 0, index position 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, index position 5. But hmm, here I am taking one more 5 and then 6. Okay, this is the index positions, right? Index positions. Here we have to take 7. Okay, index position. These are the index positions. These are the index positions. The values, whatever the values we are trying to add, the values will be stored based on the index position. That is the beauty of arrays. You can store the values based on the index positions. For example, what will happen here it is. So if I want to store the index position at 0, so marks I will mention 0 equal to 90. Then what will happen? This value will be stored at the index position 90. At the index position 0, the 90 value got stored. Okay, similarly, I want to store one value on the index position 1. Then what will happen? Okay, what will happen if I mention like this 91? This 91 will be stored in the index position 1. Now the value is 91. So similarly remaining also marks index position 2, and here I would like to mention index position 2. This value will be stored in the 92, and the same way I will mention marks index position 3, and I will mention 93. Then what will happen? The value will be stored here 93, and the same way remaining also 94, 95, 96, 94, 96. Are you guys clear with my point? Whenever you create the object, so that whenever you mention the size, with that size the object got created inside the heap memory, inside the heap memory inside the heap memory. Are you guys clear with my point? So this is the I would say how to take the subject. So now what I am taking, okay, now instead of I am taking the size is 5, size is 7, and then here I want to store the subject marks, student subject marks. Okay, 1, and then I will mention 2, and then I will mention 3, 4. Okay, I'm copying this one. 6 subjects, right? So here I mentioned 0, 1, and then 2, and then I would say 3, and then 4, and then 5, and then 6 also same. Okay, I'm copying this one, and then I'm storing the 6. I'm storing the 6. So here I will be mention 6. Here I'm passing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is clear, guys. So I have stored the values based on the index positions. Okay, if I want to retrieve the values, how can I retrieve? You can retrieve the values based on the index position form. So if I want to retrieve the specific value, the value got stored in the index position 3, we need to mention sysout statement. We need to mention sysout statement. I have to write system dot out dot println, and then here we can mention the marks. You can mention marks 3, and then you can mention semicolon, semicolon. Are you guys clear with that? I'm storing the value. Now what I'm doing, I'm retrieving the value. Storing the values based on the index positions, retrieve the values based on the index positions also. I'm saving this one, and then what should I do? Simply where the file is available, you can go there, open the command prompt, open command prompt. So the demo, and then here I'm opening command prompt, cmd java c demo.java, and then the file has how to take the marks. I have to mention new, and you have to take the copy. Okay, save the file, and then you have to come here, and you have to compile the file, and you have to run the file. Okay, Java, and then I would say demo. Okay, now we are getting the value 3. Are you guys clear with my point? I'm doing values based on the index position. I'm reading the value based on the index position. But I want to retrieve all the values. I want to retrieve all the values. How can I retrieve? If I go this approach, I can retrieve. like if I write like 0, 1, 2, 3, if I write like this, it will be take lot of time. Instead of doing this one, we already completed the loops concept, right? So I need to iterate the values by using the looping statements. So for that purpose, we will take the for loop, and then here we need to take the initialization, condition, and increment. Okay. So here I equal to, I'm taking some 0, and then condition I less than or equal to, I less than or equal to the size of the array. The size of the array is 7, and then next one is I plus plus, I plus plus. Okay. And then here I would like to mention system dot out dot return. So system is the predefined class. System dot out dot return. System dot out dot return. And here I will mention I value. Okay. As of now is clear, guys. So I want to retrieve the all the values. So if I take the sysout statement, I need to write 6 times instead of doing that one. And directly I am writing this one, and then I am making this one, right? Yeah, we'll take the as mods, and then here we'll take as a mods. Yeah, yeah, mocks will pass as mocks, yes. Okay, save this one. Uh, Up to 6, okay. Now we can simply come here and then Java C, and then we have to compile the file and we have to run. So we are getting the hash code. Okay, you are getting the hash code, right? So the thing is, we can retrieve the values based on the index questions. Based on the index question. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm saving this one, and then we are coming to here, and then you can compile the file and you can get the values. We can get the values. Okay, we can get the values. But this is the, like, if you know the length, you can write like this. If you don't know the length, then what you will do? We have the length property. That is not a method. So instead of this one, we will use the length property. Marks dot length. Marks dot length. So length is the property. If you don't know like the actual size of the array, then you can use, this is the recommended way. This is the recommended approach. Instead of mentioning the size of the array, this is the recommended approach. If I save this one, and then if I go to, and then if I compile my file, java cdemo.java, and if I execute this one, you are getting the value. You are getting the value. Okay, you are mentioning less than or equal to marks dot length, and here mentioning some size. We are getting the values 90, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95. Okay, 7 out of bounds. Take it equal to 6. Take 6, and then you can come here, you can compile this one. You are getting the value. How to mention the difference. You can say this one 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How to write the 6, right? This is the table, and then this is the 6, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 minus 1 is the size of the array. Now 6 minus 1 is the index position. Index position. Hmm. I have to take the 6 value. I have to take the 6 value. I have to take the 6 value. 6, and then here we have to mention some other value, and then marks less than. Okay, come here, and then can have this one. Now we are getting the values. Okay. So till now what we are doing, we are showing the values based on the index position. We are writing the values based on the index position. Based on the index position. So in the looping statements, where there we discuss the this one, right? Basically, in the looping statements, we have the like we discussed about I would say while loop, and the second one is the do while loop, and third one is the for loop, and fourth one is the nested for loop, and where we have the for each loop, right? Where we have the for each loop. So in the for each loop, basically, for each loop we have the, so if you observe here, what is the need of for each loop, which is used to return the values. The main purpose of for each loop, which is used to retrieve the values, retrieve the values, retrieve the values. How will you retrieve the values? Generally, I'll show you here. Instead of writing all these lines, you can write in single line also. You can write in, so instead of writing all these lines, I can write like this also. For, I can say the data type is the int, and here I am making s dot marks. Okay, s dot marks, and then I'm this is the scope of the s block, and here mentioning I am mentioning system dot out dot println s, system dot out dot println s. Are you guys clear with my pointer? Instead of writing these all the lines, if you see here, you need to initialize, you need to condition and increment. Instead of writing all the lines, you can directly write for each loop. For each loop, okay? I'm deleting this one, and then I'm saving this one. I'm going to here, and then Java C. The file has successful, and we are getting the values. We are getting the values. So what will happen internally in case of for each loop generally? So I will show you here. Okay, I will show you that one. What will happen generally? Whenever I mention the for each loop, for is the keyword, right? And every element got stored in the marks variable. Marks variable. Every element will be stored in the marks variable. So, like the marks is the variable. So it will go to the every element and it will read the data. Okay, initially it will take the values. So after this, those values directly it will go to some other person. It will give the one by one value to some other person one by one. So that's why we are mentioning each. We are mentioning each. For example, we can. I am telling some psychological example. We have the class, and class daily attending the some students, and we have the one attendance for taking the attendance for taking the attendance. So we can assume we have the one person. So I am telling some the person name is the assistance. What this assistance person will do? He will go to the every person and he will collect the attendance. Those attendance he will give to his team lead. Are you guys clear with my point? This person will go to the each person. It will take the attendance. Those data he will write in somewhere. That data he will give to is team lead. So the same scenario we can apply here also. So instead of doing that thing, you can here also the same thing. One person assistant will go to the every person. He will take the data. That data he will go to the HR. I would say he is team leader or manager. Okay, the same scenario here also. So marks is the variable which is already holding the data. That data it is given to the manager. Okay, you can assume like that. And he is giving the manager data type. So that manager the data type is integer. Integer. Okay. For each loop also very important. So every case we will use the for each loop. Every case we will use the for each loop. This is clear, guys. This is the for each loop. We are retrieving the values by using the for each loop. Retrieving the values. Retrieving the values by using for each loop. For each loop. Next thing is for example, if I want to store the 100 variables, if I want to store the 100 values, if I want to store the 100 values, in that case, if I go this approach, I need to create the 100 index positions and there I need to store those values. So instead of taking like this also, we can directly store the values like this. Here you can open curly braces and close curly braces. Here you can mention the values, how many values you want, you can store here. 90, 91, and then 92, and then second thing is 93, and then 94, and then 95. You can store the values like this. Are you guys clear with my point? So this is the direct way. This is the third case. So instead of taking the index positions also, if you directly like this, then what will happen? So these values will be stored based on the index positions only. Okay, these values will be stored. This is the direct approach. This is the direct approach to store the values. Now simply I am going to here and then I am compile my file java cdemo.java and then the file has successfully compiled and we are getting the values. We are getting the values. Clear? This is clear. In the array types, okay, the main purpose already you are aware of the difference between the arrays and variables. So in the interview perspective, they will ask what is the difference between the arrays and variables. Okay, in the arrays we have the types. In the arrays we have the types, array types. What are the types? First one is the single dimensional. Second one is the multi-dimensional. First one is the single dimensional. Second one is the multi-dimensional. Okay. Single dimension meaning we are adding the values in only one direction. Single dimension meaning we will add the values only one direction. We'll add the values in one direction. Okay. In case of multi-dimension, we can add the values in multiple directions. We'll add the values multiple directions. I will show you how it will be. So as of now, we done the discussion with single dimensions only. Okay, these all are examples for the single dimensions. This is the example for the single dimensions. Here we are showing the values based on the single direction. But what does it mean by multi-dimensional array? So I will show you. Multi-dimensional array basically, okay, show the values based on the multiple directions. Okay. In case of single dimensional array, you can show the values in single direction. So that one also I will show you. You can assume this is the single dimension, right? So here we can show the values in only one direction. I would say one, two, three, four. Okay. In case of here, this one is single dimensional array. Single dimension means we are adding the values only one direction. 90, 91, 92, 93, 94. Okay. In case of multi-dimensional, here we will be having rows and columns. Rows and column. Already you are aware of like what does it mean by row and column. Column meaning from top to bottom. Top to bottom. The counted numbers are, can say, columns. Okay. Column meaning top to bottom. Top to bottom, we can say column. Are you guys clear with my point? Row meaning left to right. Row meaning left to right. Left to right. Okay, fine. So here also we store the values based on the column and rows. Column and rows. Okay. So this position we will store the values row based, and this position we will store the values column based. Column based. Okay. Column based. Now every index position, which is the combination of row and column. Row and column. Now first one is the this is the this is the row 0 2 is the 1 and then 2 right 2. Okay, this is the column 1, column 2, column 3, right? This one also 0 1. This one is the 0, this one is the 1, and this one is the 2. Okay, first one is the 0 1. What does it mean? Row 1, column 1. 0 0. 0 0 meaning row 1, column 0. Next, 0 1 meaning row 0, column 1. Next, 0 2 meaning row 0, column 2. Next, 1 0. 1 0 meaning row 1, column 0. Next, 1 1. Row 1, column 1. Next, 1 2. Row 1, column 2. Next, third one. 2 0. 2 0 meaning row 2, column 2. Same one. 2 1. And 2 1 meaning row 2, column 2. 2 2 meaning row 2, column 2. Okay, now I would like to store the values. Here at the position, here I would like to store the 100, 200, 300, and then 400, and then 500, and then 600, 700, 800, and then 900. Are you guys clear with my point? So I'm storing the values in two directions. I'm storing the values in two directions. The same, the everything, how the process we are storing the values. Here also the same thing. You can directly store the values based on the index positions. You can return the values based on the index positions. Okay. Now I am going to here. This is the single dimension, right? So here I am mentioning with multiple dimensions. Multiple dimensions we can declare with double square, this is for one direction, this is for one direction. Okay, and then new int can mention double edge. At the time of declaring the array, we have to mention size as well. I'm mentioning some size is 3 and then 3. Okay. Here I'm storing the values based on marks 0 and then 0. This multi-dimensional is not I would say not important, but for practice purpose you can try with one or two. But in the real-time scenarios, this multi-dimensional is nobody is using. Okay, single-dimensional array is very important, but multi-dimensional array is for practice purpose you can do one or two questions. That's enough. This is not a too much important. Okay. Next thing is the same thing. I am copy from this line and then 0 I will take the values 1 0 and same thing I am taking 2 also and then I will take name with 1 1 and then 1 1 2. Similarly here also 2 0 2 0 here also 2 1 and then 2 2 finally 2 2 finally 2 2 and then I am copying this one 2 1 and 2 2. This is the 2 1 and then here we are going to mention the okay. So I am storing the values based on the index position. If I want to retrieve the value, so simply what I am doing system dot out dot println and here I will mention mass 2. So whatever the wherever the index position you want to value, that you can copy that one and then you can mention here, save the file, and then I am going to where the file is available, you can open the command Java C. So here I will change the values like this is the 100 and this is the 200. Change the values and this is the 300. This is the 300 and this one is the 400, 500 and this is the 600 and this is the 700, 800 and 700 and then 800 and this is the 900. I'm saving this one and then I'm going to here and then Java C demo Java and then I'm getting the value 900. So the process which is happening internally like this. So the values will be stored like this. So when you have created the object like this, internally the object got created in 2 dimensions. The object got created in 2 dimensions. Internally the object got created in 2 dimensions. And if you can retrieve the values, by using the for each function. For example, for each, I would say you can rather for loop also can retrieve the values. Here, if I mention int, if I mention I equal to some 0 and then I less than or equal to array dot length less than array dot length, I will say most dot length len. Okay. Next thing is I increment. Okay, from here to here, I have to mention the for loop. I have to mention the for loop Okay, inside for loop, we need to take one more for. So the same for loop I'm copying here, and then I'm going inside and I'm pasting here. By using nested for loop, we can retrieve the values, right? So here I'm mentioning some j value, and then here I'm mentioning j plus plus, and then here mention here I will mention I plus plus greater than or equal to j. Okay, I'm saving this one, and here I will take the source statement system dot out dot return system dot out dot return. Here I will mention the variable name marks, and I can take I, and then I can take j. I can take j. Okay, I'm saving this one. Okay, I'm saving this one, and then we come here. You are getting the values 100, 200, and 300, right? So what is happening generally? So first it will come to here, and it is printing only 3. Every execution of I plus plus, and then what is the error it is throwing? 3, and then less than incoming Java C Java while has successful compiled. Java demo, Java. So how to mention if not equal to service on the size is 3, and where added the values is 2 by 2. 2 by 2 meaning which is having the value basically uh, 2, and this one also 2. We're adding the values to, and then we're adding the values. Huh? Marks, marks length. Uh, 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 okay, okay. Yeah, 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 yeah. That's accept the reason. So here j less than or equal to I. Okay. So first for loop we are writing with the help of I, right? So second for loop we are writing the j. J is less than or equal to j is less than or equal to I. Uh, mm, mm, yeah, yeah. We'll try with both conditions. Then we'll get the, we'll try with this one. Java set amount of Java. And then Java. We're getting the values only. Here. Yeah. That's also and then so see Java, we are getting the values. Okay. So these are the basically two ways. One is the single dimensional and second one is the multi-dimensional. Okay. We have the document. So in the document you can go with the document. The same thing. Uh, whatever the points we have discussed as of now, the same points here also. Array is an object which contains elements of similar data type. Array is the container object that holds the values of homogeneous type. Okay, array is also known as static data structure because the size of array must be specified at the time of declaration. Okay, next thing is array starts from zero index and goes on n minus one, where n is the length of the array. Okay, next thing is array in the Java is index based. First element of array is stored at the zeroth index. Second element will be stored in the first first index. Okay, in the Java, array is treated as the object and stores into the heap memory. It allows to store the primitive values or reference values. Okay, this is the similarly basically it will be internally should be like this only. Index position start from the zero, and then we will show the values based on the index positions. We have the two types. One is the single dimensional array, second one is the multi-dimensional array. Okay, in the single dimensional array, you can write the syntax like these three types. You can write any way, anything also valid. You can data type, array, and variable. You can write like this, that is also valid. And data type, array, and variable, that is also valid. And then the third thing is data type, array, and this is also valid. You can write any type. Next, third thing is initialization of the array, reference variable, and this one. We have created the object in the heap memory. This one we are showing in the reference variable. Okay. So this is the some examples on it. This is we are retrieving the values based on the index positions. So here also we are retrieving the values based on the index positions. So generally, multi-dimensional compared to multi-dimensional is not at all using. For practical purpose, you can do two, three programs. Okay, for practice purpose, you can do two, three programs. Okay, only less than. We need to use only less than. Okay, for practice purpose, we need to use one or two programs. That's enough. Okay, you can do one or two programs. That's enough on multi-dimensional. Don't use equals. So in our programs, we are using equals. Instead of writing the equal, you can take the less than and you can try with that. Okay, you get the value. You can mention the size is, in our case, our size is 3, right? And here also you can mention the size. And here you can take with some empty space and saving this one. And inside this block, I'm mentioning with system dot out dot println. And here I'm taking mocks I and then j, right? Then what will happen? We'll try to understand. So if you want to access the specific value, you can access. If you see here, system.out.println, first row and second column, they are specifically accessing the value. If you want to access the specifically, then you can mention or else you can directly you can mention here the marks, and then you will get the values. So the same statement I'm copying from here, and then I'm pasting, and then I'm saving this one, and then I will come in here, and then Java C demo.java, and then we're getting the values. We're getting the values, but don't use equals. So this is all about we have to practice on one or two programs on multi-dimensional, and then remaining arrays are the very very important. So if you observe here, the syntax for the arrays is this one, like I would say. So can I take? I will write some combinations. Can try to answer. For example, this is int, and then I will mention some reference variable name, reference variable name. Okay, and then here I would like to mention like this. This is valid, invalid. This is valid or invalid. This is valid. Okay. In the same way, if I mention string some reference variable name, and then here if I mention anything here, so this is valid or invalid. This is also valid. Here we will pass some values. So similarly, if you observe our main method, uh, if you observe our main method, if you observe our main, this is our main method, right? Main method parameter. We are passing the parameter. Parameter as the array. String array. String array meaning everything. Array data type is the string. So this all the program which will be stored in the form of string only. And this is the variable name. This variable name you can take anything. For example, if I take a VA, yes, that is also work. The variable name you can take anything, and the data type you have to take only the string. All the program, whatever the program you have written, all the things where will be stored in the string format only. String format only. This is the methods. So in the methods concept we'll get the clarity. As of now we try to understand this is the parameter. Parameters are the values which will give input to the method. Main is the method, and this string. So arrays string, whatever the data we are storing till now, all the data will be stored in the string array format only. So our data will be stored based on the index positions, based on the index position. Okay, in the string format. Are you guys clear with my point? So this is the point you should remember. In the methods concept, you will get clarity of this one. And so this one is the access specifier. That is the different topic. So as of now, we'll try to understand arrays concept. Okay, so we'll done with single dimensional array and multi-dimensional array. Okay, stopping the live.